I love Peter. He's great. He's super relatable, and I like that he creates a space where everyone feels comfortable to voice their opinions. He definitely knows when to take a step back and let the people who are participating in the program have their 2 cents, but also knows when to take charge and to give his input, which is needed.
This experience was priceless. To have this information at this age, I feel like it's given me direction, opened my eyes.
Yeah, he's great. I like the way that he listens. He gives his own opinion without judging anyone, which I think is really important. And I think in this career coaching space, sometimes it can be judgmental. So it's been awesome. I've learned a lot.
It's been amazing. Just his expertise on these things and his mastery on it. It's been phenomenal because sometimes you get into situations or you get in conversations with people and they don't necessarily have an answer for things. They just more so have a question right back at you. And I think he allows room for you to ask the question yourself and for it to be answered by yourself by his just guiding of the conversation and how it's just feedback.
It's been great. I've learned a lot from him, and I like that he shares some of his vulnerability with us to make us trust him and be comfortable with him to share our stories and our vulnerabilities and everything, and really keep the conversation organic and natural.
This whole program is definitely a form of therapy for me, at least, because it's a lot of the things that I want to work on, it's so helpful when it's given a name. There's something about my accountability, when there's something about my follow through that I want to work on specifically. To me, whenever I look at the things that I want to improve in life, I think of it as this big, daunting task. But the thing is, it's all made of just these different little things that I can be doing. And once I tackle one, I can tackle two, then I can tackle four. And it's all of a sudden, that big problem doesn't seem so big anymore.
I was talking to my friends, there was an insane change in my mindset, and I think moving forward, having that mindset is going to exponentially change how I go about my daily life, the way that I carry myself into my future, and I'm so grateful for that.
I learned a lot more about myself. I love self-care and just thinking about how I spend my time and how I can improve that to become a better version of myself. It was fun. Yeah, I mean, Peter, he's great, he makes everything, he explains everything really well, and he really, I feel is really personal, and so he shares stories about himself. I think he's very open, which I like. I think that for me, other people being open allows me to be open about myself. So yeah, he's great.
When I hear that we're gonna be learning something, I automatically typically assume that we're gonna have, a speaker and a listener, us being the listener and the learner. So just seeing how much a part of the learning we are has been surprising.
It's not self-help and go off into the world and good luck. It's more of exercises and practices you can constantly do to kind of keep yourself in a groove. I feel like I'm doing this now and this is great, but when I'm out of this, I can still revisit these things and apply them to different times in my life.
Thank you for this whole initiative. I just think it's so important. I know for me personally, mentorship has made such a big impact in my life. And with times changing and things getting so competitive, it can be extremely overwhelming. And if you don't have that mentor relationship with anyone, if you don't have the influential figure in your life that other people have, then it could be a really big disadvantage. So for Peter to make this program and kind of provide that to young adults, that is the impact that all of us would love to have on the world. And I just think this whole program has been beautiful from start to finish.
It has been really, really awesome. Honestly, I feel even though I do a lot of introspection of my own, I feel having this guided version and with a bunch of other people to kind of bounce ideas off of, it's way more helpful than if you were just doing it on your own.
There's not a lot of other places in the world where I would have this experience in such a short amount of time. So I feel I've really learned a lot and improved myself greatly. I'm just really grateful for this and that I got here.
Being able to learn so much and what kind of seems like a short amount of time, but I just felt it was just such I wouldn't have been able to get this anywhere else.
Empowering, insightful, activating. I just want to describe that one, activating, because it actually has encouraged a lot of us to act upon what it is that we're learning, which is different from a lot of other courses.
I feel the year after college, that age where you're first job hunting and stuff, it's so difficult to navigate. And that's the time where you're so like vulnerable and like don't know exactly what you want. So I think like, yeah, young 20s is definitely the ideal age to watch it.
Definitely fun, inspiring, I feel like, catalyzing in a way, like again, like inspiring me to take action, you know, like it's like, okay, I'm gonna like spark this in you and now you go, you know, do what you need to do.
What we're learning is like really impactful. It's really like helped me to be more aware of like myself, stuff that I haven't even really thought about before, and it's really challenged me. So I think that, you know, people who are up to improve themselves, people who are looking to be more introspective, as well as like looking around and seeing how they can learn from others as well, would really benefit from the program.
I think after completing any kind of program, you know, you hit the ground running with all this new information that you learned, and sometimes, unfortunately, that energy can die, but I really think that after attending this Kindling program, these are just tools that I can have for life. Like, it's not something that's going to last a week. It's tools and skills and connections that I've built that I'm going to carry on with me forever.
So much of the past year has been me not really knowing what to do, or knowing what I want to do but not knowing how to go about it. And I think a lot of other people are in that boat, and I think it could be really helpful just to know some options that you have. I remember Peter saying, "Good for you for knowing that you needed to take a gap year." So it was kind of like a little bit of validation, which is nice. I remember a lot of what he said about making connections. That's probably the biggest thing that I took away from it. And then since then, I got in contact with a theater company that I used to work with. And as soon as I left, I was like, I gotta call them and get something set up. And they got me an audition for something that's coming up.
For college students and for high school students, Kindling is like a really good idea because in a lot of high schools, it's like pushed on you to go straight to college. And I didn't know about other alternative things you could do. And Peter showed us other resources that you can use outside of college, which is like cost effective and practical. Everyone was a little nervous and like maybe confused about like what was even gonna happen, and then we all got like a good sense of like we're all like confused about the same things. And like here's Peter like also saying like everyone else is confused about this stuff too. It's not like just you. And then it was like to have people together like that. We were just like all talking and we're like we gotta like stay in touch because we can all help each other. We all at least know we are going through similar things. I'm really, really good friends with Rose, even though she moved back to California. I met up with Brielle for like a clothing swap for Puerto Rico. There was just so much positive energy afterwards, so I would recommend it. I was like talking about it like extensively to like a lot of my friends. I think that's like networking in itself, which was just a great effect of like just being together and learning it all with Peter at the same time.
The thing I remember most from what Peter said from the Kindling experience is the reflecting of the things you've done, the meditation. So then I did that a lot because sometimes New York can get really busy. So then I just take a moment to calm myself, reflect on what has happened and where I'm going to. Because back home, they just teach you academic stuff. They don't teach you life and practical goals too. So my mission and values that we had to fill in, he actually stuck those on notice board in my room. So then I see it all the time. And Peter made this point where when you see someone, you look them into the eye and stretch your arms and grab firmly. So then I remember when I met the president of Parsons, I wasn't sure, like, because like he's the man up there, I wasn't sure how to, but when I went up and I spoke to him and I said, oh, I'm from Ghana and I'm here to study design and technology. And the next day, I don't think he remembered my name, but the next day he recognized my face and just smiled and passed by. So then I was like, oh, so it actually does work.
I remember all the great people that I met. Everyone was different in their own way. And to see all of them in one place, I feel like students would be willing to go into similar programs like that. Because college, even though it's like, you know, fun and everything, it's still stressful because studies always come first. It's how you learn to balance all aspects of your life at the same time. And going through the session with Peter and everyone else, I feel like it has helped me become much more composed and function better. Because I tend to get stressed out from time to time. I started doing a little bit of meditating on the side, so that kind of helped me stay focused on what I wanted to do. And I feel like I've got a better grasp on how I function during my day. Feels like that has helped me, and I think of what Peter has done, just not for me, but probably for everyone else. I took Peter's advice and redrafted my entire resume and kept in touch with Fahad, and he helped to redraft all my resumes. And that's the resume that I used to reach out to all my professors for my research projects and everything. I spoke to them in person after that. So things are looking good as of right now, and fingers crossed.
Peter is very awesome because he's able to empathize with students and the concerns that they have going into a job search, and he's able to combat that with the expertise that he's had in ESPN among various companies in the corporate world. And it's very admirable that he's able to leave that corporate world in the prime of his career to mentor students and to cover lots of topics that we are just nervous about, and cover them with such advice and comfort to students.
What inspired me most was this connection, which I'm personally passionate about, of being connected emotionally, physically, mentally, and spiritually in every aspect of your life. And it was so refreshing to see an individual that had worked in the corporate ladder, worked in the corporate field for the past 21 years, and that he was one who valued emotional IQ and valued being a genuine good person from inside out.
What I really appreciate about what Peter had to say today is he really speaks to the whole person. As someone graduating college in just a couple months, it's really refreshing to hear someone speak to us as a whole person as we enter the job market. We're really learning a lot about authenticity from him and how important that is in our job and how important that is in our fulfillment in our job. And I really appreciate that as I'm on the job hunt for something that not only I can bring value to, but something that I can have a good time and a fulfilling time doing.
I truly valued everything that Peter said to us. To me, he's a man with great wisdom, and he was able to communicate that and relate that to all of us young kids who like truly appreciate him.
I want to thank Peter for being charismatic, for being insightful, resourceful, but more importantly for having a big heart. And after spending 2 days with him, I've been able to understand what the real meaning of education is, and that's not only being good at exams and learning from books, but that's growing as a person, growing physically, emotionally, and much more. And so for this reason, I cannot be more thankful. Thank you, Peter.